Hello, listeners. Jordan here. I just want to let you know that you can listen to Nighttime early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Include it with Prime.
You are listening to Keep Canada Weird, a weekly weird news roundup by the Nighttime Podcast.
Handsome Aaron Airport. For most people listening, this will be the first episode of 2025. That's big.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's still 2024 right now. You and I are recording this in the past, but to the future listeners, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. Yeah, we're heading into another worst year ever.
Do you think? I think it's going to be better, but we'll save that for, we'll decide this time next year how 2025 performed against 2024. We have other things to talk about. First of all, what is your special drink this week? Should you reveal yours first or should I jump in?
We're getting right into it. I think you usually reveal first, so maybe I'll reveal first this time.
Please.
I have, of course, sugar-free, caffeine-free Fresca.
Oh, okay. That's kind of like a lemonade-y type thing.
Yeah, this is a natural grapefruit flavor, actually. Fresca. Oh, there it is. Yeah, very good.
Okay, I'll reveal mine. This may look like an ordinary can of Coca-Cola, but it isn't. It actually is a gift from my friend Kevin, who's a regular listener to the show. Kevin just got back from Mexico, and he brought this with him. And what makes Coca-Cola different is in Mexico, it's made with actual cane sugar, where in North America, it's made with I don't know if it's like high fructose corn syrup or something like this. It's a different kind of sugar, and apparently you can taste the difference.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. It tastes much sweeter and smoother.
Really?
But this isn't zero sugar, so we'll see how I feel at the end of this. Kevin, you may have poisoned me.
All over the place by the end of this recording. This is going to be an interesting 2025 because Jordan Bust Up Bonaparte is now wrecked on sugar.
Well, let's get into it. We're here to keep Canada weird by seeking out, exploring, highlighting all the unique and unusual news stories that played out across the past week. But this past week was especially special, and not just because of all the weird news stories that have occurred, but because it was Christmas. How was your Christmas, Aaron?
My Christmas was great. It was a good Christmas. It was busy, lots of visiting and running around and going to and fro, but it's starting to settle down now. So heading into a few days of relaxation, I hope. And but it was a good Christmas. How was yours?
Yeah, a wonderful Christmas. Took the tree down last night, so it's kind of
what?
Yeah, because
you took the tree down
already. Yeah, because I feel like after Christmas, there's this kind of like Christmas hangover, and it's like holding on to this fading light, trying to keep it going. But I find when Christmas ends and the gifts are unwrapped and it's getting to be the point that you got to start getting ready to get back to work and get back to school, I find it best to just clean everything up and start fresh. So I did that last night into today, but we had a great Christmas. My children were happy. Santa found them and spoiled them rotten. And I saw friends, family, and did all the things you're supposed to do.
Wow.
No complaints.
So why don't you wait until after New Year's to take the tree down? That's at least in this part of the world, that's the traditional method to undertake is to wait until at least, January 2nd.
I could see the reasoning for that, but really I find by then I'm busy because I'm back to work and things are rolling. I want to just get it done now and enjoy my last couple days of vacation right now. I want to enjoy with a clean house and a clean slate.
I disagree. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll agree to disagree on it. I thought it through and I'm confident with my decision. I don't think it's an opinion. I think it's the right way to live your life tree wise. So.
Oh, you do. Yeah. Okay. You look down on the tree keepers.
I do.
on people such as myself and your other good friend Randy, who is debating keeping his tree up year round.
Yeah, well, I think he has selfish reasons for doing that.
Oh, what's that?
It's a pain in the butt to take the tree out and put it in into storage and all that stuff. I think that's what it's all about. But
Yeah.
let's not dwell on this. We got to get into the stories tonight. I want to start though with a voicemail that I think will set the scene and set the stage for a lot of what we're going to be talking about. Of course, we're looking back at the weird news stories from the past week. They're all Christmas related, gift giving related, shopping related, ordering online related, and really they all involve chaos. It's going to be a bit of a negative episode as a result of that, but we're
Oh.
we're going to listen to a listener. We're going to hear a voicemail from a listener named Patrick who has a story about a porch pirate in his neck of the woods that will really open the door for our conversation. The first of many porch pirate stories we're going to hear tonight. Here it comes.
Hi, Jordan and Aaron. It's your Southern Ontario correspondent, Patrick, coming to you from Waterdown, Ontario. I just wanted to make you aware of something that I've been seeing lately going on local Facebook community groups of a Amazon porch pirate who is actually going to houses with loaves of bread and bringing them up to the houses, leaving the loaves of bread, and then taking the Amazon packages. This has been going on around the Waterdown and Burlington area. I've seen it in the Burlington subreddit and also in some of the Facebook groups around here. A very bizarre but clever way, I think, to avoid suspicion. Look like you're delivering, dropping something off. I'm going to leave with the Amazon packages, leaving some old loaves of bread. Anyways, thanks for all your hard work. That's my story.
So porch pirates, we've talked about them before. We're going to be talking about them again tonight. Typically, they just walk up on a doorstep, grab a package and take off or jump in a car or whatever. In this case, around his area, and I did some research, this seems to be specific to his part of Ontario, is a certain porch pirate is using the appearance of being a bread delivery person as a cover for their wrongdoing. I think it's smart, I guess. If you're going to do that kind of thing, it probably looks better than picking up the box and running.
Yeah, I guess I'm not quite sure why it has to be loaves of bread. Why can't it just be an empty parcel?
Yeah, because if you're in the stealing Amazon box business, why not just bring an empty Amazon box and pick up the full Amazon box, and you just look like an Amazon delivery person? Because
Yeah, and
this
you're just
person,
always reusing the box that you stole. So the box that you steal, you take out the item, and then you use that empty box to then put it on someone else's porch to
mm,
then take their Amazon box. It seems like that would be the most absolute logical thing to do. But loaves of bread, maybe this person just has a lot of loaves of bread they're looking to get rid of.
but I feel like that is going to make it a bit easier to track this person down. Like now they have a lead. Like let's look for someone who
Yeah.
has a ton of bread or has
This
access to a ton
is
of bread.
this is exactly like the wet bandits in Home Alone. Because you know how the wet bandits in Home Alone, they were, the two thieves that Macaulay Culkin's character Kevin was protecting himself against in the movie.
Yes.
So then they called themselves the Wet Bandits because one of them was turning on the faucets and sticking like things in the drain so that the faucets would then overflow, and that was their calling card, and he wanted them to be known as the Wet Bandits. And then
Mm.
at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, once they're caught after all of the shenanigans that they went through with Kevin, the police officers are like, we're going to know every house that you guys specifically hit because now we know every house that had water flooding is a house that you broke into.
Mm. Hmm. I see the need for a decoy, but I think maybe the bread was a not the best idea.
Yeah, it's obviously a baker doing this. We can say that for sure. So all the bakers in the area will now be questioned and one of them will be arrested.
I think it's only a matter of time. Let's get into the stories here. I appreciate that voicemail, Patrick. I always enjoy hearing about the weird things happening around the country that don't make the mainstream press. I would never know about the bread bandit of Ontario were it not for him. But we do have other bandits to hear about. This year, this Christmas has been chaotic for a lot of reasons. Canada Post was on strike, and that really shook things up. It made it a bit harder to move packages around. The delivery of these packages will really occupy the majority of our discussion tonight. Well, I'm going to call this one the Dirty Diaper Bandit of Alberta. You'll hear why. It also involves a porch pirate. As online shopping grows, so does the rise of these porch pirates. And of course, they are thieves who steal packages off of doorsteps. But in Edmonton's Blue Quill neighborhood, one thief got an unexpected surprise. Thinking they'd score big, they unknowingly made off with a pretty stinky prize. And a video doorbell captured the whole thing. Here's the story of the Dirty Diaper Bandit.
It's obvious they don't care.
Porch pirates are hijacking the holiday season. They'll take anything. And that fact gave one homeowner some accidental retribution.
I didn't plan for revenge, but, it's just kind of funny.
William Tigor was surprised to see a porch pirate taking a package at 5 in the morning on his doorbell camera. Little did the thief know, it was a bag full of dirty diapers his wife forgot about.
She was planning to take it out of garbage, but she didn't have time. She doesn't want to leave like a bag of like a dirty diaper inside the house, so she just put it outside the front door.
The thief realized the nasty surprise before he took off.
He literally picked it up to the front door. He walked through here and he noticed it's like a dirty diaper. I ended up throwing it to my lawn back.
It was a familiar neighborhood porch pirate too.
I think it's the same guy that stole my gardening tools.
Citywide porch piracy is up 47%. This September saw 61 thefts compared to 46 in 2023. In October, 114 cases of porch theft was reported to police compared to 73 the year before. We don't know the numbers for November, December yet, and these are just the thefts reported to police.
It's like their job. They're out there stealing packages, and unfortunately they leave behind a lot of victims that won't be able to get their presents for Christmas.
At this time of year, police say use extra caution.
Try to get it delivered to your place of work if you can, to the neighbors. Have somebody home. If you have a security camera, make sure that it's capturing that the package is getting delivered.
Tracking your packages and alerting a neighbor right away about your deliveries helps.
The suspects will follow people around or follow the Amazon truck around and pick up these packages.
As much as this family enjoyed teaching a porch pirate a lesson, Tigor doesn't think the dirty deed on the doorstep will deter too many.
I think he'll still come back.
So this guy has like a neighborhood porch pirate. He recognized him from the video doorbell. You'd think they'd be able to get this guy if they, if he stole my garden tools. It's the same guy. If they recognize him, but...
Yeah, you would think that at this point in time, there'd be enough clues as to who the perpetrator is that they would have caught them by now. But this diaper situation, it doesn't sound like it was an intentional way of them teaching a lesson to this porch pirate. It just so happened that the dirty diapers were left on the step, and this individual thought that it was something of value, and they came and took it, quickly saw that it was dirty diapers, and then just threw them back on the lawn. So I don't really think a lesson was taught here at all.
No, I don't
lessons
think
learned.
Yeah,
because they are still left with the dirty diapers. They still, in fact, they're now out on the lawn. They have to go out of their way to go and get the dirty diapers on the lawn and then put them in the garbage. So the egg is on their face now.
I think so. The only good that comes out of it is they get to see this porch pirate like mildly inconvenienced. Like he walked up, picked something up, and he's like, this is nothing. And he chucked it on their lawn. So it's,
yeah.
It wasn't intentional.
It's a weird story for the news to cover, actually, because nothing really happened. Nothing was stolen. And the criminal did not, get their comeuppance.
No, the criminal probably went a couple doors down and actually took something of value and is now
and continues to steal.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's in the news probably because so many people are affected by porch piracy that these types of stories get people looking at them. I've noticed, like, just in following the news over the holiday season, there were so many stories about porch pirates and undelivered packages and whatnot. So I think the news probably seeks out these stories knowing that, it's going to be a hit.
Yeah.
This is an example of that. I like to see a porch pirate not winning because it's such an awful thing to do. Society needs to come up with a solution for if we're going to make it so that you press a button on the internet and then a box of the thing shows up on your doorstep and just sits there. We need like some way to keep that safe if we're all going to do that. Of course, these boxes of valuables are getting stolen. Like it's I don't know what the answer is. Maybe something like a mailbox, but it's larger and locks, like a lockbox.
Those are out there, and that is out on the market now. There are things you can do where they have the lockbox on the step, and the delivery driver gets the code to open it.
Maybe everyone should just have one of those. And then maybe the delivery driver doesn't even need the code. It would kind of work like a mailbox. So there's like a door on the top of it or something. And you can lay the package there and it just falls in the locked box for the homeowner to get home. And it could be something common that everybody has on their doorstep. And it's just a given. It's your lockbox, just like we often have mailboxes. Maybe we've evolved past the point of a mailbox for envelopes. Now we need a lockbox where you would put our envelopes and our Nintendo games and coffee makers and whatever else we click buttons and order online.
Those are the only two things you can order online.
I think they're doing other stuff now, not just coffee makers and Nintendos.
I haven't figured it out yet. It's just coffee makers and a small amount of Nintendo games.
Okay.
It's 99% coffee makers, specifically Mr. Coffee. But I get my packages delivered to my office.
That's a luxury you have. But I have my video doorbell, so when I get a package delivered, I'm like right there, usually to say bye to them and thank them as they walk down my driveway. I've yet to be affected by porch piracy.
I'm looking forward to myself stealing something off of your porch next time I'm in your neighborhood.
Try it. You can try. You got to be quick because I'll tell you, once the Amazon...
I know, that's what I'm noticing.
When the Amazon truck pulls up, I'm usually at the door like, here it comes.
Yeah, but I'm one of those, like they said in the story, how the delivery drivers are being followed now. So I'm one of those people that's following the delivery drivers. And then as soon as they put it on your house, before you can even get to the door, I've got a loaf of bread on your doorstep, and that's what you're getting.
Let's hear a story about when the delivery driver is the problem. Here's another complicated story of packages going missing. This time it's not porch pirates. Holiday shopping and the ensuing delivery has been especially complicated for many this year. But for people on Vancouver Island, it was downright bizarre. Packages are being marked as delivered, but are ending up in strange places. Here's the story of British Columbia's delivery Grinches. That's what we'll call them. Here it comes.
There will be presents under the tree this year, but not nearly the amount Jamie Knowles was counting on.
A Temu order, I'm going to say it was probably about 2 weeks ago. In that order was about 19 gifts. And yeah, none of them came.
Knowles is one of hundreds on Vancouver Island to report missing packages after receiving an email notification and so-called photo confirmation it had been delivered.
I did not recognize the house that the picture was, and it was just like a random driveway.
In many cases, they've been delivered to the wrong address, nowhere near the intended destination. Others left on the side of the road or seemingly tossed into bushes.
Like people are finding things in ditches, on roofs, and over fences.
Today I got a call from Save On Foods saying that they had my package.
Lindsay Millward is among a group now reporting a haul that was dumped in the parking lot at the Trans-Canada Highway and Trunk Road location in Duncan.
Really glad that somebody found the packages and they managed to get back to me and everything like that.
Failing that, Facebook groups like this one with more than 300 members are popping up in an effort to connect people with their deliveries.
The community has been awesome in coming together to try and help others during this time of year.
The majority say the issues involve online orders from Temu and the courier service Straight Ship. In a statement, Temu said it's aware of the issue, writing, "We expect all our business partners to adhere to our third-party code of conduct and the required standards of customer care. We have communicated with Straight Ship and understand they are taking steps to resolve the situation." Straight Ship did not respond to our request for comment.
I joke to people who ask me about it that this company is kind of like our Christmas Grinch.
We may never know if who's responsible will ever discover the true meaning of the holiday season, but the ordeal has been a good reminder for everyone affected.
It's just about being together, and that's what we're going to try and do.
So this story is mainly highlighting this issue in BC, but it's not unique to BC. I've seen all across the country people complaining about packages not being delivered or packages being delivered and with the delivery confirmation showing a photograph of some random doorstep that isn't theirs with their package sitting on it. So there's been chaos with deliveries all across the province. But I think this story that's being all across the country, but I think this story that we hear here seems to be specific to one delivery service that's working with Temu, which I think is seen as kind of like the lowest of the low for online retailers. But regardless, it seems like this delivery service is just not delivering it and dumping it in parking lots and on the side of the road, which sucks.
Yeah, as soon as there's any amount of hesitation from the delivery driver in trying to find the address or the location where they're supposed to deliver this parcel, they're like, I can't find it. I'm putting it there. I'm taking a picture of it and I'm moving on to my next delivery. Mm-hmm. It's especially when Canada Post was on strike too, where a lot of these independent or third-party delivery services were overwhelmed with all of the packages that Canada Post couldn't do. Mm-hmm. And they were just throwing parcels from the trucks and not even caring where they land. Yeah,
it seemed that way. I've seen, like, especially in Nova Scotia here, I've seen a lot of people online sharing photos of a package sitting on the doorstep. And they're like, I just got this delivery confirmation, but that's not my house. Does anyone recognize this house? Because, Christmas is in 3 days and the one thing my daughter wants from Santa's on this random doorstep. That's a lot of that going on. But again, this situation in BC we heard in this story, I think it was probably one or a group of especially problematic delivery people who were probably like just quite literally just not giving a shit. If it gets to the point that they dump a load of it in a parking lot of a Save on Foods, which I think is just a grocery store, like it sounds like they just unloaded their truck there, being like, delivered.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? It's 5 o'clock. Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, it seems like that sucks. I had actually 2 packages stuck in the mail when Canada Post went on strike. But they both managed to get to me like days before Christmas. They were both Christmas gifts. One of them was en route since like October from the States, and it was en route when they went on strike. So I just thought there's no way I'm even
stuck in limbo
this.
for a while.
Yeah, but
my favorite part of that story is when they talk about the Facebook group where people are sharing all of these different stories, and they're like, it has over 314 members.
I heard that. It's like,
that's not a lot. No, I got to say, that's not worth mentioning. I would argue.
As far as Facebook groups go, yeah, it's unless that is for one specific community, like the people who live on this block. 300 of us have banded together, but it sounds like they're talking about a Facebook group like in Vancouver, like a major city with 300 people. Come on. So you don't need
and one in every 500,000 people signed up for this this Facebook group.
Well, let's take our first break of the night. When we get back, we're going to have 2 more stories of 2 more negative Christmas stories, but these 2 I think are going to be about literal Grinches. Let's take a quick break and then we'll hear about these nasty people. All right, Aaron, there's been a lot of people who were trying to take the joy out of Christmas over the past week. Let's hear about a few of them. So let's go first to Vancouver. In Vancouver's Carisdale neighborhood, one homeowner's festive spirit was put to the test after a brazen theft. A theft that was caught on camera. Here's the story of yet another Grinch, this one in Vancouver. Here it comes.
There's someone out there, tough to see for the human eye, not for the security system that senses movement and sends a warning.
You are currently being recorded.
As the Christmas lights flicker on and off, the owners are in the living room, the kids already asleep. Dad is aware the camera was triggered.
Didn't think much of it. I thought maybe, just my neighbor walked by, whatnot.
But when he looked out the window, it wasn't bright and cheerful. There was almost no light at all, because all the decorations, some $500 worth, collected over several years, had been stolen.
Jumped in my car, start driving around looking for, these guys, right?
The camera did its job Tuesday night, capturing a man picking up decorations, a reindeer over his shoulder. And when he was warned again,
Hi, you are currently being recorded.
He just didn't seem to care.
I think they just know they can get away with it. The person looked like they had a hoodie on. People who are stealing Christmas decorations are, to me, just low lives. The reality is they got away and I lost my decorations and next week is Christmas.
The family is now debating replacing them, but are certain it won't be this year. They don't have the money.
What are my thoughts on this story, the idea of stealing decorations? But my thoughts kind of apply to decorations in general. What do people do when they have, you drive by those houses or those homes that have like their lawn all done up with all these different decorations and snowmen and, just plastic stuff. I wonder what people do with that stuff when it's not Christmas. I just have a couple small decorations that, I just fold up and put in this like one box in my basement. But like in this story here, the guy had a pretty good amount of stuff. I wonder where they keep it. And then I wonder if you're going around stealing Christmas decorations, the only reason to do that would be to resell it next year, I guess, if you're stealing it like 2 days before Christmas. So what are you going to do with a bunch of stolen decorations?
That's what I was thinking when I saw this story, was the motivation of stealing Christmas lights so close to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why would you bother? But I guess they're thinking long term. It's organized crime. It's the same thing when we cover those stories about stolen butter or, weird things that get stolen, when you're like, why are they stealing that? But it's usually some kind of an organized crime situation. And these people are just the foot soldiers that are being told, hey, go and steal as many Christmas decorations, lights, and whatever that you can, and then we'll sell them in the summertime.
Yeah, or sell them late November next year would make the most sense for Christmas decorations, because days before Christmas, any store that sells Christmas decorations have them marked down like 60% off or something, because they don't want to store them all winter. They want to sell sell them now. So to steal them when he did would make sense, but then you got to deal with the logistics of storing it until the market gets hot for Christmas decorations again. And even when it does, they're not worth that much. Like this is just a really dumb crime. I would have thought it was like a teenager like doing something stupid like this, but in the video, looks like an older guy, like with like a truck or something. So it does seem like an organized thing, which is very stupid.
Well, maybe, but think about pawn shops. They probably get a lot of people dropping off Christmas lights and Christmas decorations just after Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably buying them because like, yeah, I'll be able to sell these. Again, I think a lot of people buy Christmas decorations in the summertime because they're getting ready to have them to put up just after Halloween. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I see the people who put up a lot of Christmas decorations, they're buying them early. And I can see the pawn shops and the secondhand places and all of these different small businesses buying this stuff on the cheap just after Christmas and then marking it up to sell, in September and October.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Let's hear another one, though. This one, I think you're going to have a lot to say about this because I know I do. For over 15 years in Canmore, Alberta, Dave Ouellette's elaborate Christmas display has been a town favorite. But this holiday, the Christmas spirit was tested. his Christmas spirit was tested after an attack on his display by probably a group of teenagers. Listen to this one. And I set this up as probably a group of teenagers because this is a story where I'm certain only teenagers would stoop this low. Here it comes.
It's a sight you can't help but stop to take a look.
There's so many different genres and things for every kid and adult alike. It's great.
The magical display can be found just off Bow Valley Trail next to Blondie's Cafe in Canmore.
I love the display. Now that I'm a mom and I have a 2-year-old, I think little things like this are so important. It brings so much Christmas magic to her.
It was built by Dave Ouellette, and he's been putting it up since his 15-year-old daughter Rihanna was born.
And it just kind of became an obsession, and now it is actually part of the town.
It's a tradition, so it's just what I've known.
Over the years, Dave estimates he spent over $100,000 on it. From the rideable train and gingerbread house to these life-size Darth Vader and Chewbacca statues. And of course, the inflatables. Just don't ask him how many there are.
Actually, I'm unable to answer that question.
He spends hours keeping it perfect, so when he stopped by on Boxing Day evening, he noticed something was different.
I came to change the light bulb on Rudolph, and I noticed that some of the inflatables were deflated, and then I noticed that they had been actually slashed and ripped, and the gingerbread house was turned upside down and everything like that.
The act of vandalism happened around 11 p.m., with 15 inflatables slashed in total. But they weren't just cut up. In this video obtained by Global News, it shows a person treating the blow-up decorations like a punching bag.
It's very, disrespectful, especially with the amount that they destroyed. It's just not cool.
When they get torn on the base, they can no longer be repaired.
But to Dave's surprise, many of them were repairable. Over the past 24 hours, the community coming together to help, stitching together all but 2.
I'm very humbled by this experience. I didn't realize that I had that much support in the town.
An act of kindness showing how important the Christmas display is to the town. Dave says since the act, one person has turned themselves into police.
Before we get into this, are you going to try to link Dave Ouellette with the theft of Christmas decorations from the prior story?
No, but I do want to connect someone into the organizing of this.
Okay.
I feel like this is an organized crime. This with these individuals who attacked these Christmas decorations, these displays, were just hired guns.
Okay.
They were just people who were looking to make a buck, and
it's called hitmen. They were hitmen.
Yeah. They were offered some money and say, "Hey, I want you to take down these inflatables and don't ask why. Here's $50. Just do it."
Mm-hmm. Who would do that? Who would put them up to this? Who would have anything to gain by taking out this guy's display?
I think the organizer and the brains behind this operation is his daughter.
What?
Yeah, I think it's his daughter because as she says in the video, in the news coverage, when they interview her, it's all I've known, is what she says.
And maybe she's, now that I think they said she was like 15 or 16. Maybe she's starting to be like, there's a bigger world out there than my dad's $100,000 Christmas display. And I want to enjoy it.
I think it's deeper than that. I think she came across as almost very sterile to me, like very cold and almost empty. I think that her entire life, her father has loved Christmas decorations more than her. Or at least that's how she feels about it. And I think this year she's had enough because he spent what did they say, over $100,000 on this?
Which is an astronomical amount of money.
Yeah, which is probably her college fund. She's got all the motive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all she's known.
When you look at the video that captures like what to me looks like teenagers just kind of kicking the crap out of the displays, it's hard to get a read on their age, but to me, I wouldn't be surprised if they were her peers, 15 to 18-year-olds. So I don't know how big of a city this is. So she likely, whether she paid them directly or just goes to school with them, she likely knows these people. I don't know. I think you may be onto something, Aaron. But all I knew going into this, I'm thinking this has to be teenagers. You at least agree with my theory that teenagers are responsible, but you think the call's coming from inside the house.
100%. And even at the end of the coverage, when they say that one of the individuals did turn themselves in, I think in order for her to take the spotlight, any possible spotlight off of her of being behind this, she had to convince one of them to turn themselves in. So she paid them a little extra money and say, at the end, I'm going to give you twice as much. I'm going to give you $100 instead of $50. And I want you to turn yourself in as the culprit.
Okay. Knowing the Youth Criminal Justice Act is going to see to it that nothing happens to him anyway. He gets $100.
Not even a slap on the wrist for this one. No.
Okay. It's almost like the perfect crime.
It's brilliant.
Wow. That is dark. You're so keen and observant, because when I first saw that article, that my mind didn't go there. I'm convinced you're right.
Yeah, it's all she's known. It's all she's known.
I need to catch my breath after that, because you've really opened my eyes to the seedy underbelly of people who were raised in Christmas-centric families. Let's take another quick ad break. When we get back, I think we are going to get into my favorite segment ever of Keep Canada Weird. We're going to reveal the top story of 2024, voted on specifically by one voicemail provider.
1 out of 1 listeners agree.
Let's take a break, and then we'll get into that. So you remember, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we called out to listeners asking for them to share with us their favorite story of 2024. You remember this?
Yes, I remember it very clearly in my mind.
We got a voicemail from a listener named Michelle. Not a listener, a correspondent named Michelle. She provided her thoughts on the best story of 2024. And I agree with her so much that we will name this segment the best story of 2024. Here's Michelle's voicemail.
Hi, guys. Longtime listener here. My name is Michelle. I'm from the GTHA. I wanted to participate in your last discussion. It was about favorite stories over the year, past year of 2024, of favorite news stories. And I have to say, my absolute favorite story, and I'm pretty sure, I've tried to go back to find it, and I can't locate it exactly. So I'm like 90% sure it's a 2024 story. Anyways, it's the story from Peterborough. A listener called in, and it was about this husband and wife who visited a bakery very often, regularly, for their famous banana bread. They loved their banana bread and kept going for it. But yes, I just had to let you guys know that was my favorite story of the entire year. Still laugh about it to this day and can't look at banana bread the same. Thanks, guys. Take care.
So Michelle is suggesting that a story coming out of Peterborough about banana bread is the best story of 2024 on Keep Canada Weird. She went back through the prior episodes to confirm that it was from 2024. She could not find it. I think I know why, but let me ask you, Aaron, do you remember this story? Do you know what she's talking about?
I have no idea what Michelle is talking about.
The reason she couldn't find it is because the story she's referencing, it did come out of Peterborough, but it wasn't aired on Keep Canada Weird. It was aired on one of the other nighttime series, Encounters with Creeps. It was actually aired on episode 15 of Encounters with Creeps, which was aired during 2024. Now, Aaron, I'm going to get you caught up, and we will play this story, and this will make it a 2024 story. So Encounters with Creeps, if you're unfamiliar, is another series I do where listeners can contribute voicemails in which they share the time they encountered a creepy person. A regular listener and regular caller and correspondent, perhaps even chief correspondent for Keep Canada Weird, shared a story on a prior episode of Encounters with Creeps, and that's what Michelle is talking about. I think you'll probably know who it is, though. Michelle said it was a banana bread story coming out of Peterborough. Any suspects in Peterborough?
There's only one person that I know from Peterborough, and it's Peterborough Pat.
This is a Peterborough Pat story. It's all coming full circle because Peterborough Pat is most associated with Keep Canada Weird, but he was first to star on Encounters with Creeps, Volume 15, when he did share probably my favorite story of 2024. I didn't consider it in the running when we talked 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to share the story with you now. You don't know his banana bread story, do you?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You are going to love this. Buckle up for Peterborough Pat's story that will ruin banana bread for anyone out there. Here it comes. Actually, before I play it, is banana bread kind of a Christmas food? People eat that?
No, that's a year-round treat. That's any time of year.
Okay. I'm just trying to connect it with the time of year. Here it comes. Peterborough Pat's banana bread story.
Hello, this is Pat from Peterborough. Encounters with Creeps. Hopefully you can use this story. It's a wild one. So there's a bakery in the north end of Peterborough. It's shut down now. But they had like a deli and bakery, and it was a staple of the north end of Peterborough. A lot of people went there. Anyways, we went there so much we would run into the baker in the morning because we would walk down there in the morning. And he really liked my wife. But it was like, you could tell by talking to him within 10 seconds that he was a creep. Anyways, he was really fond of my wife, and he would always come out of the back and chat her up. And she mentioned how much she enjoyed his banana bread that he made. And it was good banana bread. The place made good banana bread. That's why we went there. So anyways, the one morning we go down, my wife's pregnant, and he really he seemed more creepy that when he noticed that she was pregnant, and would talk to her more, and I would kind of tease her about it a bit as we walked home. But the one time we went in, and he came running out of the back with a freshly baked loaf of banana bread, and he's like, "Hey, I was waiting for you. I made this just for you." And he gave it to my wife, and it was super awkward. And the lady at the deli, there was tension. I don't know what was going on, but she said, "Oh, thank you." And they talked a little bit, and I waited outside because the guy's such a creep. And she came out, and I was like, we were walking home, and I started teasing her a bit, like, yeah, like, he made that especially for you. Like, the guy's such a creep. Like, he probably stuck his in it or something, or like put his bodily fluids. I'm not eating that. And I was just kind of laughing about it, but I wasn't going to eat any of it because the interaction was so weird. And we got home, and I'd kind of forgotten all about it, but my wife was unwrapping it in the kitchen, and I was in the living room playing with my daughter on the floor, and I heard her burst into like laughter and like screams, and like she said, "Get in here right now, you got to see this." And I said, "No way." And I just had a weird feeling, and I went in, and there it was, a cross section of the loaf of banana bread, and it was hollowed out in the shape of a penis. And I honestly believe that he stuck his penis in it, just because the way he came out and presented it and said, "I made this just for you." And then maybe he did or he didn't. We didn't eat that one, and we stopped going there after that. But I don't know. I hope it's not true, but I honestly believe it is. Yeah, it was good banana bread, but we didn't eat that loaf. And we didn't go back. Anyways, I'm a big fan of the show. I love Keep Canada Weird. Handsome Aaron, love that guy. Madeline's doing a great job. I love the podcast. Keep it up. This is a true story, although it sounds unbelievable, but it's true.
So that is the call Michelle is talking about. Again, from Encounters with Creeps, volume 15. But man, that's a doozy. I'm tearing up from laughter from hearing that again.
Yeah, it reminds me of the movie American Pie when the main character had sex with the pie in the kitchen and his father caught him.
Yeah, this is different though, because he sees it like an hour earlier, makes the joke like, he probably stuck his his junk in that, and then imagine her surprise when she cuts it open and finds it hollowed out in that shape. I think that's a great story.
It might have been accidental that she ended up getting the loaf that the baker had sex with. Right? Maybe his intention was to give her a non-penetrated loaf. But he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. I had sex with one of these. Which one did I give her?" And then he's looking through all the loaves and he's like, "Oh no, none of them have a penis hole.
Oh god.
I must have given her the one that I had sex with.
I meant to toss that."
Maybe he really liked her and he just really wanted her to enjoy a nice, warm, delicious loaf of banana bread.
In a much more like socially acceptable way than he enjoyed earlier.
Yeah, he didn't mean for her to get the one that he had sex with, but he did have sex with one of them because earlier in the day when he was baking banana bread, he got really turned on and no one was around. So he just kind of, he did that.
And you're okay with that?
Am I okay with it? I mean, I have nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter what I think about it.
This is between Pat, his wife, and a baker, a very creepy baker.
Yeah, he might be a creep. We don't know yet. If he intentionally gave her the loaf that he had sex with, then yes, I agree he's a creep. But if he just happened to have sex with a loaf of banana bread and accidentally gave her that loaf as opposed to, again, a non-penetrated loaf.
Okay. I don't understand your creep math on that. I think this guy's a creep. Is that the story of the year? Despite not even being a Keep Canada Weird story until now?
Until now, yeah, we stole it, brought it over here. And yeah, it could be the story of the millennium.
Okay. I doubted you when you called out to listeners to share tire stories. I think this will be our third week in a row with a tire story. This will be our last story of 2024. So if anything is going to steal Peterborough Pat's Story of the Year award, it's going to be Tiffany's tire story. The last Keep Canada Weird story of 2024, the third straight tire story for Handsome Aaron Airport. Here it comes.
Hey guys, what's up? Calling from Las Vegas, Nevada. I heard you guys are looking for tire stories. So just like quickly, I used to work for a very well-known car shop retail. It was my first job. I was 17 years old. I worked there part-time, just being a cashier, and decided to go take my lunch one day. I sat in the back and in the middle of chewing my food, a giant tire falls on top of my head, which then my head now lands into my food onto the counter, and I let out the loudest blood-curdling scream, mostly because I was scared and I hadn't really realized what happened. And then I had an abundance of coworkers coming to try to console me, ask me if I'm okay, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't realize that this giant fucking tire had landed on my head. And I'm still alive today. I'm low key kind of pissed at myself for not suing the company, because I could have died that day. And the poor guy, we used to stack the tires on these shelves and they would kind of overhang around like the break room area. And now I still have a family member that works for them. Because of that incident, they now stack them differently. But yeah, I could have died, guys. It's pretty fucking crazy. Also, notice how I went all the way to your website to record something and I had nothing to say about your appearance. Anyways, both of you are handsome. Love you. Bye.
That's a great tire story.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of good Keep Canada Weird check boxes on that voicemail with a bye at the end.
Complimented
and
our appearance.
Yeah, we like that. We like that a lot. And
she
a
had
lot of F-bombs in there, which
Yeah.
was, appreciated. It's the end of 2024. So I think our last voicemail of 2024 deserves a few F-bombs in it.
Yeah, I often will beep them out, but I let it all hang out with that call there. I think it's because she's in Vegas, and it just feels like it should be a little risky.
Yeah, as soon as she said she was calling from Vegas, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a
go.
really good tire story.
The situation she describes of the tire falling, hitting her on the head, you're just describing like a workplace fatality, except she got very lucky to survive and not be seriously injured. Like a tire falling from the ceiling and hitting a 17-year-old in the head. Oh yeah, that could have taken her out. And oh yeah, she could have sued. She didn't. I'm shocked.
Mm-hmm.
And you think of Americans as being litigious and everyone's suing everyone.
No, I agree.
Yeah, she did them a
clearly
favor.
She's above general society, and I'm really appreciative of the tire story. It was a really exciting tire story. Again, it had a lot of the things that we look for in a story. So my favorite part of it was at the very beginning where she said, I hear you're looking for a tire story.
Yeah,
Just like how somebody from Vegas who like pulls you into an alleyway or something. It's like, you looking for a watch?
She opens up her trench coat and there's just a bunch of tire stories in there.
There's just a bunch of loaves of bread.
Yeah. I like to think that she's not even a listener. She just heard on the streets that we're soliciting tire stories and she's doing
Everyone in
work.
Vegas is talking about how there's a podcast in Canada and they're looking for tire stories.
She's like, I got one. I'll find
Yeah,
them.
I got one. Yeah, I got a doozy. It's a life and death tire story. I knew they were out there too. There was a reason I was asking people for tire stories, and this is why. There are tire stories out there, and they're worth telling.
And the media is silent on this.
Silent on it.
It took someone as brave as
talking
you.
tires out there. Nobody is.
Yeah, I think you struck oil, and this shows it. Like you said, this was a life and death tire story coming straight out of Vegas, Sin City, literally.
Yeah.
Man,
That's
a good story.
We're on to something big.
Is it the story of 2024?
No, I'm not going to say it's a story of 2024, and here's why. Because I think tires is the story of 2025. I think we're just scratching the surface of tires, and we're moving into a new year where all the listeners are going to be hitting us with waves upon waves of tire stories. Because now we've opened the floodgates. Now we've normalized talking about tires, finally.
Someone had to step up, and it's us.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great, Aaron. 2024 has been an amazing year for Keep Canada Weird. It's been horrible for everything else, but for 2024, Keep Canada Weird has done great. I look forward to 2025. A lot of people are talking resolutions. Do we want to end with a resolution?
I think I gave mine already, and that's
you resolved to just talk tires.
I resolved to listen about tires.
And maybe that's what's the problem, is no one's been listening.
Yeah, exactly. How about you? What do you want to see?
I don't know. I take it seriously. I come up with a resolution every year and I actually implement it. I'm going to take a serious note here. And my resolution is to do even more Keep Canada Weird in 2025. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's a great way to sit and talk with you. The listeners getting involved is amazing. It's like we have a whole crew of people across the world that make this work awesome and fun and enjoyable and effective. So I want more of it in 2025. I've pitched the idea several times to you about ramping up to maybe 2 episodes a week. And I think we're pretty much there. So I'm going to go out on a ledge now and say, Aaron, can we do 2 episodes a week in 2025?
Absolutely. I've finally officially agreed with you that we will do that, because we'll have 1 episode about weird news stories around the country.
Our weird news roundup is what we do.
And then the other episode will be all tires.
Okay, we're halfway into an agreement. We're going to still negotiate on if it's going to be entirely tire centric or if it'll be kind of
That's the name of the episode, Entirely Tires.
Ooh, that's good.
See, we're just getting going here on this tire thing.
All right. Well, we'll consider it. We'll do 2 episodes, maybe Entirely Tires, if we can get enough.
Entirely Tires. Yeah. Welcome to Entirely Tires, Volume 27.
Okay, that part I don't know. We'll put a star next to that. That's still debatable, but yeah. Well, let's wrap this up. We've been through a lot tonight. We've kept Canada weird. We found the weird Christmas stories, although they were all negative. I couldn't find any feel-good Christmas stories, sadly. It seemed like it was a chaotic Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas is a lot of chaos all rolled up into some joyful things, but the joyful things happen very fast, and they're almost cliche now. So people just want to hear about stuff being stolen.
It seems as though you're right. All right, well, let's get on with it. Aaron, 2025 is going to be a blast. Let's put a bow on tonight's episode. Handsome Aaron Airport. Until next time.
Jordan Bust Up Bonaparte. Until next time.
I don't want to encourage vigilanteism, but there is a lot of opportunity to put weird things on your front step and point your Ring video doorbell on it and see what happens.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
Especially just your general garbage that you're looking to get rid of.
I just
I
don't
have
want
lots of stuff that I'm too lazy to take to the dump that I'd love to just put on my front step. And
what you got to do is seal it in an Amazon box. Like the mistake that we heard in this dirty diaper story was it was just a bag of dirty diapers. So the porch pirate wasn't even out of his driveway when he realized what it was. But if that was sealed in a box, he'd be in his car or back home at his lair before he actually opened up and found the dirty diapers. So if you want to actually get rid of the stuff, you just put it in an old Amazon box.
Yeah, the key is the old Amazon box. And Jordan, until next time, I just want to say Happy New Year, buddy.
And Happy New Year to everyone out there listening. I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. If you got a news story from your area that you'd like to share with us, or have any thoughts or theories or opinions on anything we discussed tonight, we'd love to hear from you. You can contact us by using the voice recorder that can be found at nighttimepodcast.com/contact. And on that topic, I want to give a big thank you to this episode's correspondents. If your voice message was aired tonight, you can email me your address. My email is nighttimepodcast@gmail.com, and I'll get a Keep Canada Weird badge and swag pack sent out to you. I just ask that you wear the badge proudly and responsibly. Next, a big thanks goes out to Aaron for another great night, you, Nicole, for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data for the outro version of O Canada. And then, of course, a sincere and massive thank you goes out to each and every one of you listening. Your support makes this show possible. And if you'd like to support the show even more, please consider a subscription to the premium feed, which can be found at nighttimepodcast.com/subscribe. The premium feed costs just a couple dollars a month, but that money will fund the creation of new episodes of the show, and it'll give you those episodes 2 days early, ad-free, and access to a back catalog of episodes. And even if you don't want to go premium, you can still support the show by sharing this episode on social media. That helps a lot too, and it's free. Your support is very much appreciated. So with all that said, until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and together, let's keep Canada weird.
Keep Canada Weird is written, hosted, and produced by the Nighttime Podcast.